Doop dooba doo 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 dooba dooba doop. Welcome to the Smeggie Cave. How's everyone doing out there tonight? Got some people over on the gun channel side patiently waiting. Got some people in here and joining me. So how's everyone doing tonight? Someone's playing with a pop gun or something?
It's like we're in a cave, and that's a little drip of water coming down from the stalactite.
That does sound pretty good. But it sounds more like a little like cork gun or something.
That's the old finger in the mouth, and then pull your finger out of your mouth and makes a pop.
That's a pretty good mouth pop.
That was the only thing I could do. I could never do the like stick your fingers in your mouth and whistle thing.
Oh, no. I can barely
Can you do the armpit part?
Anybody can do that.
Yeah, any guy should know how to do that.
You have to learn how to do that to defend yourself from other people doing it to you.
That's a penis-only activity.
Uh-oh.
I disagree. I think anyone can enjoy in class shenanigans, classroom clowning.
Smeggie likes him a woman that could do a mean armpit part.
I didn't necessarily say that. I just don't think that it's a guy thing only.
Yeah, no, I think
I'm very
when I look for
progressive
my next
now.
girlfriend, she's definitely going to have to be able to armpit fart.
There's a first date for you.
No, best first date ever is shooting range.
No,
True.
not at all.
Yep. Actually, maybe not the best first date, but definitely I'd like me a girl who likes
You don't
shooting.
know how fucking crazy someone is yet, and you don't want to be around them with them.
Tattoo shop was a pretty good first date.
That one seems kind of weird. But then again, I don't have any tattoos, so.
There do I.
I've always wanted one. I just can never
You're like-
think of something I want to live with my whole life.
You should totally get a tattoo.
Here's an interesting first date. Let's go get tattoos. And then she gets a tattoo. And then you're like, oh, I ain't getting a tattoo.
Then you
Yeah,
back
I
out.
Crazy bitch.
But she was. That was my ex-wife.
I could have told
Definitely
you that would have not went well.
No, what you could have told me is not to get her name tattooed on me.
Oh, did you really?
Not the first day.
Oh.
Not the first date.
How many dates
that was
in?
crazy.
No regrets.
How many what?
How many dates in before you got a name?
Oh, we were married at the time. I was in Virginia doing some stuff for the Army. And I went into this tattoo parlor, kind of drunk. And I was like, I want my girl's name on my chest. And this swallow, a swallow carrying a banner.
Oh my god, I
And
have
he's like,
those tattoos.
He was like, don't do it, bro. Don't do it, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
no way. It's true love forever, bro. Then that's what happened. I got her name tattooed on me. I still haven't got it off.
Are you gonna get it covered or lasered?
Well, it's a bird that's flying. So I think I want it to have its brains being blown out. And the blood splattering up my shoulder or something like
you ever
that.
want to have sex again?
No, of course not.
Oh, okay, then yeah, totally get that.
Yeah.
I mean, because someone
I don't
else is gonna see that and be like, "I think my mom's calling me. I gotta go home."
Okay,
I
here's
fucking
the
hate
trick. You
girls.
just find a girl with the same name. So hopefully her name wasn't weird. But if it's a common one, like you just have to shrink the dating pool.
I will never date that name again. I don't think.
Wait, how do you spell your name?
They're all
your
crazy.
Bernice.
Like if it ended in an I, maybe, but if it ends in a Y,
Oh, her name was Troy. That makes sense.
Oh, that's cool.
no, it wasn't. Her name was not Troy. Oh God.
That would
All
be
right, his
super
name is
hot.
Troy. We get it.
Oh, that's funny. No, I don't want to put her name out there on the interwebs.
Well, for sure. Yeah, that's why I wasn't.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, we don't need to know.
yeah, that'd be crazy. She'd probably try to sue me.
Guns.
I like guns.
Birmingham, Illinois. Gun sanctuary city. They will not enforce any unconstitutional firearms laws.
Oh,
We're
that's
talking about this the
heard
other
of that.
night.
I don't know how much like weight that holds, or if it's just a symbolic thing or whatever. But I thought it was cool.
I think all of America should be, sanctuary city for guns. It's kind of in the Constitution.
Yeah, that is kind of the whole point.
Los Angeles is a sanctuary city.
For
Yeah, not for guns.
for immigrants.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they were playing off of, right? I mean, basically they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you're doing it for that, so I'm going to do it for guns." So, but
Seattle was that
they
way
say
too.
no they won't enforce unconstitutional things or whatever. But so does that mean you could totally just build SBRs and homemade suppressors and all that stuff and be like, "Oh, it's not illegal here. Like, we're good to go."
I don't know. Technically, Montana has that law. Arizona technically still has it, I think, where they basically removed some restrictions so that state law didn't talk about building things that were NFA. And then I guess the concept is if you build something in a state that doesn't leave the state, it never touches interstate commerce. It never touches federal, so the NFA never applies. And as long as you're on an NFA, or as long as you're on ETF dealer, a federal licensed dealer, then there's no law preventing you from building something that would stay within the state. So there's that. But I don't know how much they've been tested.
Are you doing some kind of like dick pose?
No, my dog is friggin'
No, don't
stealing
put the camera down.
right there.
Well, just go sit on the floor. Let the dog have the chair. Go sit on the floor.
This dog.
Your cord will reach. We don't need to see you. You can just zoom in on the dog.
Here.
Yeah, you do that, and you just sit on the floor next to the chair.
But then I can't look at chats or type.
Who's typing
He
anything?
gets off. I did. I said hi on the YouTube side. Oh, and there's some more people. Potatoes and Lead. Doug Wayne.
All right.
Yeah, it's okay.
So-
This is much better.
She does look a lot better.
Look at that puppy.
Yep.
To me, and I have a good eye for this, that dog doesn't get enough pettings.
Needs more belly rubs.
Bars for attentions.
Start
She's
rubbing that
looking at
dog's
herself on
belly.
the screen. No.
Look
Do
at
it.
Heidi. She's like, I've never been.
Look, she
All
doesn't
right,
even
what
know
the
what's
hell
going
happened
on.
over
She
here?
never do it.
Never had experienced a belly rub before.
I'm trying to do it on camera and it's hard. Oh, look at her.
So do you remember one of the things? Oh man, I don't even want to get into all that. But do you remember the channels that existed? They probably still exist, where they just would show like, oh, baby kittens or baby puppies, or maybe like baby pigs or something. And it was, I think, supposed to be therapeutic, maybe for people that were in comas or bedridden babies or
That's how
something.
I got through law school.
Watching those things.
Yeah, like kitten videos and shit.
But it would be like a live feed from like just literally like a mommy cat with a bunch of people, and the camera pointed at them, and then like if the kitten would, or if the cat would move her kittens over, they would just move the camera and keep pointing it at her. Or if it was like baby pigs, they would just keep pointing the camera at wherever the pigs were standing.
I don't know that I've ever watched a live stream of baby animals, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
have seen that on TV. There was a thing that was just like cute animals running around.
Oh, Puppy Bowl, like during the Super Bowl.
But this was like 24/7. Like this was a live feed of that. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it was for hospitals or something, or people that are in trauma or something.
Yeah, and Puppy Bowl, although I like the concept, I can't stand like the guy who's pretending to be the referee or whatever. Like he is so super annoying.
Do the puppies even listen to him?
No, they just run around or whatever, but he's just weird about it.
Encroachment. What?
What?
Don't lick yourself on air. I just don't think dogs would understand rules from a human referee.
You go, psst, psst. And then,
Well, I mean, it's obviously not regular football. I mean, it's a whole other thing.
Ugh.
But anyways, guns exist and they're fun. Notice we got a couple other people jumping in here. I know they like guns.
Introduce yourselves, gentlemen.
What's a gun?
Not sure.
I am the Hashnasi. How's it going?
I am the walrus. Cuckoo, cuckoo. So what were you showing off earlier, Dead Horse? I saw something about you did a live stream, like show and tell or whatever.
Uh-huh.
What were you showing and telling? I didn't watch the thing. I just saw the name of it.
Receiver sets and handguards.
Very cool. Got a new build coming up.
Dude, right now I got a lot more than like a new build. I got like a bunch of builds all at the same time.
Well, you always have a bunch of builds going on, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's cheaper to build that way because then like when something comes on sale, like, I can snag it up on sale and actually like put it to use versus building one at a time. Then like I'm more specific on what comes on sale and what deals I can do.
hey, can you see my screen, Dead Horse?
Okay, yeah. Yep.
Okay. You want to see how to do it?
Yeah.
All right. So you go and click on Edit Overview. And that's basically a WYSIWYG version of what you see there. So if you want to put it before this paragraph or after this paragraph, not sure which one.
You just posted in there?
Yeah. So I grabbed the link to the video from over on YouTube, just the URL right here. And then, I don't know where you want to put it. If you want to put it up here, you can either go to Insert and go to Media, or there's a little shortcut right here. You can go to Media, and then you can just put the link to the URL where it says Source, and then it's there. So if you really, you can.
Okay, that makes sense. See, I was going to the video button on the side there, the one that says video.
Right here.
On the previous page. No, the previous page.
Oh, okay.
Video on the side, and I was going to that, and it was like link a video or whatever, and I was trying to link it that way, but it was posting it on the front page for some reason.
Well, that's
and it wasn't even my video. Like, it wasn't even the right thing.
So when you click Save Overview, now it's saved, and then you can go back and look at it, and it should have your video up top.
Okay, I get how it works now. That makes that. Seeing you do it, I totally get how it works now. See, I was going to that videos right there on the side.
So this would be more like an archive. So let's say that you already did this video, right? Like you already did right there. If you add, like, let's go grab one of your other videos, like this one here. Like if you wanted to add that to your archive over here, then you could do that. And that's more to like create a playlist or whatever you want to call it over here to, just to accumulate your videos or whatever. Link them here.
Oh, sweet.
And that just archives the video then over onto the gun channel side. So
We
if
put-
people check out your thing, there's a list of all the videos you've added.
Now, if I go to the main page, it should be. I thought it would be there. Oh, maybe because I haven't subscribed to your channel. No, I'm following it.
Try and refresh or something, maybe.
And you try turning it off and on again.
Wait till the capacitors drain out. And then, no, that might have some. But basically, then yeah, that's on your channel, and then mainly there. That's how you show it on your front page, though. How do you get your video up to have the chat and everything?
Sweet. Sweet. Yeah. Okay. That's gonna make it way easier.
Oh no, and then let me show you another thing too. If you got a second. So.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah. I got plenty of time.
Going back over to when you posted it, right? So you got your link to the YouTube video, but you got your link to your channel, right? So if you go up to, say you're going to be live, right? And then I usually put a link here, but then I'll go to add link here, put that link to my channel and attach it, and it turns into this little thumbnail right away for you. I don't know why it's taking so long because we're talking about it. But normally that just happens, and then you'll get the little preview. Eventually,
Yeah, like see how my Smeggie Cave is, which
Yeah.
I just noticed that apparently it posted twice. I only did it once, so maybe it's just being weird right now. But
so there's your little preview and shit, and then
Oh.
and I put it here anyway, or maybe I'll say like at 9 p.m. Eastern or some shit, and then when post it, like Smeggie said, you'll get your little description, and then that way it takes you right to your channel right away, and you're not sending people accidentally off to YouTube where they might as well go suck a butt because it sucks over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely.
I did read something on Reddit earlier today. 9 out of 10 YouTubers suck butts. It's proven on Reddit.
Well, it was on Reddit, so
Well, my plan is to use YouTube as to do the live show, then download it from YouTube and then upload it to like all the other places, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea. You've got a couple in Utah.
Yeah, UGE. I was trying to spread them around a bunch, and
It looks like Gun Fancy's on UGE, and then somebody else. There's a couple of big channels on the other one, Gun Streamer. Have you been on? Did you get an account on Gun Streamer also?
no, I didn't know about that one.
It's Gun Streamer. It's the exact same engine, so they're both using the same software to run it, and they both seem to be running pretty well. And they're going to give each other a run for the money, I suspect. But same exact engine, so it's the same way to. It's literally the same thing. The only thing different is the branding up top. But I've heard of another one coming, and we know Full 30 is opening shit up. So your stuff would probably be good stuff for Full 30, I bet, especially like your builds.
And the UGE one is ran by a bunch of guys that own Utah Gun Exchange, which is a site, a private sell site. Well, there's dealers who post on there too, but to buy and sell guns. And they also have that in a bunch of other states, like Tennessee Gun Exchange or Montana Gun Exchange and stuff. So they own a websites like that in a bunch of different states, but they started it in Utah. And so those guys have that behind them already. And and like Nut and Fancy uses like Utah Gun Exchange, like you can see his posts on there. And so they have that kind of going behind them. So and like I've been watching the actual Utah Gun Exchange guys' videos, and it looks like they're going full board into this, man. Like it really does. It looks like these guys have money. They are like Utah Gun Exchange, and this is like a side thing. Like it's not their everyday job. They're very successful in their other businesses, and it looks like they're investing a lot of money into this. A lot of money, it really does.
I think they've got an interest in seeing it succeed too, not just like I don't know, some kind of investor capitalist, like, or what do they call that? Venture capitalist, like. Oh,
Well,
this
these guys own some of the
money.
gun stores here in Utah. They actually own gun stores here and stuff like that, a chain of gun stores.
That's what I
So,
mean.
yeah, so yeah, they're very.
They want to see Second Amendment shit happen, not just like, oh, there's potential to make some money because YouTube is going to take a misstep or something. You know, it's all about money. I think it's all about Second Amendment. Matt is super against this. He is not happy that these things are gun-centric. He thinks that they should be freedom, open to everybody type of platform.
Well, guess what? I'm glad they're not freedom opening kind of platforms because number one, I shouldn't have to be worried about being discriminated against for anything firearm related. Number two, a completely open source platform like Pornhub or something is I don't want, you know, my kids going to that to watch one of my videos or something and all those ads and shit, you know, popping up. So I don't like that idea of a completely open place like that.
Dick pills.
Yeah. And why the fuck do I want to even be on YouTube right next to videos about how to pop a pimple or how to, you know, ancient aliens or like whatever the hell else is on there when I'm just all about guns? Like if my channel was about just everything and guns were just a part of my life, that might be different.
Well, I mean,
but when you have a channel that's focused on just fucking guns, like, are there forums out there that are like, oh, here's the forum that's about fucking cars and guns and airplanes? Like,
I'm sorry, but if your channel's about fucking guns, then you should be on Pornhub.
no,
just fucking guns is what you said.
Ha ha ha.
Oh, God. Ha, ha.
Where's Smeggies thing or their symbol?
I mean,
I'm not going down to the basement.
But does that make sense? Are there's not like mixed forums and stuff where people who are into cars, airplanes, helicopters, and guns go to like,
well,
you know, like forums are pretty specific. So why can't we have basically video forums, so to speak, that are more specific? Like I think that's the next evolution. I think when the gun community breaks off like that, we'll have motorcycle type forums opening up where it's just motorcycle videos. Or
do you want an answer? Do you want an answer to the question that you posed, or
yeah?
No.
Because there's not enough ad money in just guns. I mean, I hate to be the
I
wet
have
blanket.
a different answer, but
I hate to be the wet blanket, but that's what it ultimately comes down to. Is eventually,
how much ad money do you need to generate when it's just guns, though, compared to like when you're doing everything, right?
No, I mean, I've said this before, and I think it bears repeating. The cost isn't in like paying the creator. The cost is in the bandwidth and the storage for the videos that you're putting up. That's the cost, right? So, I mean, you know, I want something to exist that is an open to a freedom-minded type of thing, but that can only go for so long under the best wishes of all the people that watch. So you either have to get them to pay like a subscription eventually, or you've got to have ads that the people paying for the ads feel like they're getting some kind of benefit out of it. That's the only way you're going to be able to do it, unless you got some wealthy benefactor who's going to bankroll it.
If Pornhub still owned the channel, right, and they changed the name to like GunHub instead of Pornhub, right? So like the kids weren't typing in porn to get there and stuff like that, right? And then like there was no advertisements for any of that type of shit. And then you just went to GunHub and it was just all like gun shit and not like any, you know, sexual stuff. Then that might be different. But the way I've seen it run, like it's like not inappropriate, I think. Like
And
even a lot of adults, they don't want to be going there and seeing that and seeing those kind of ads next to their fucking whatever.
Well, yeah, that's again because they're getting posted on the porn thing. I think the whole idea when people were saying they were going to do a firearm thing, it was going to be a completely separate URL and everything, and it wasn't going to have, you know, nudie pictures in the ads or whatever. It's just they were going to use their same infrastructure on the back end. And obviously they're tech people that know how to host videos. So, you know, they know what they're doing as far as all that goes. That's what I've heard. I heard they were going to split off and do a different thing. Not just, you go to the website and it happens to be mixed in under, fetishes or whatever.
And maybe they have the right
question. Hang on, please.
Yeah.
To go back to your question on why is it necessarily maybe kind of bad to have just a gun website like a Full 30 or a guntube.org or any of these other ones. I would say because as a consumer of videos, when I go to YouTube, I watch gun videos, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit ADD. So as I'm scrolling through the list, I check out the newest cartoon from Freedom Tunes, and then I check out a gun review, and then I watch some science-based thing. I see something from 60 Symbols or whatever, and then I go back and watch another gun thing and jump on a live chat, like whatever. So the fact that all that content of all of my interests, because I am more than just one-dimensional, that's why I like going there. Because from a user's point of view, it brings all of my interests to me, even though the channels I'm subscribed to only focus on one topic at a time.
You could definitely hammer out a couple interests on Pornhub, though.
Literally.
Oh yeah.
That kind of an interesting point too. I think you mentioned Dead Horse. You mentioned forums. I've noticed a trend. Maybe you guys are different than me, but I've noticed that like forum viewership is going down because it's
for small forums.
It's focused on one specific thing, so people aren't really hanging out like they used to.
And every forum I've been in, like there's one for comic books that I was a part of quite a bit. And every single one of those, like besides all the different topics as far as, price check forum or just check out what I got thing about, there's always a general discussion. Mm-hmm. And you go in there and you find recipes for cake. You know what I mean? It's like, where the hell did this come from? I don't know, but I'm going to reply to it anyways. People like talking about other than just one thing.
Yeah.
But when I look at the largest forums for a specific class, right? So when I look at the largest gun forum, like AR15.com, okay, hands down the largest gun forum, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Every single day, their membership counter climbs by 1,000 people. Every single day. So every day there's 1,000 new fucking people joining that website. And you look at their posts, in every single section and subsection, there's posts every single day. The advertisements on there and their business partners and all that shit and their advertising that they get is no joke. They make good money. They're making money off of AR15.com. It is obviously working what they're doing.
Big money, and they're also familiar with big time server because forums take massive server space bandwidth.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is so why, if a forum like that can make money and all that and work good, how come a gun specific community, where AR15.com does touch on other things related to guns like gear and stuff like that and clothing, or it'll touch on other topics too, but pretty much firearm related specific community, a video type community, a video forum like AR15.com, how come they can't get those same fucking sponsors, BCM and Spikes and all those other guys that AR15.com has, and go in and do it right and have their own firearm related YouTube? I don't see any reason why one big one, a bunch of little ones competing against each other, is bound to be a clusterfuck and fail. But one big one, why does YouTube work?
That's how the internet works, and I feel like people will sort it out, and whichever one ends up getting the timing right and getting the right features, and just probably a little bit of luck dashed in there too. But there will be one, I think, that stands above the rest, and then either the other ones will dissolve or just kind of fizzle away or stay just their own little community, and that's cool too. I'm not saying I'm opposed to a gun only thing. I mean, I think Full 30 is doing okay with what they're doing. They came out with a soft launch. I mean, they rolled out a little bit at a time type of thing. But so I think it could happen. I don't see it as being as big as YouTube, just by the mere fact that there's less people in the world that go on the internet and say, you know what, I'm going to spend the next 2 hours only looking at guns. Whereas on YouTube, I can spend 2 hours on YouTube and maybe 80% of them are gun videos that I'm watching. But because I'm ADD, every once in a while I want to learn about dinosaurs or some other crap.
And that's
you know what I
fine.
mean?
And there's still YouTube there for that. Or there might be a dinosaur specific fucking website to go do that. Right?
Again, back to
and that's the thing. Like, but I don't see why changing over to go back to YouTube to watch Ancient Aliens, it would be a big deal. And
You
then when you
don't
want to watch firearm stuff going to a specific thing.
You don't see why? You see no reason why?
No, not nowadays. Not when it's just a click away from a phone or a
Because
fucking computer.
it's so much easier just to click the next suggested video.
Yeah, it's not a click away, man.
What did you guys search? What you guys would not be defending this position 6 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, but not 8 years ago. So there's no reason to believe that just because it's the way it is now, that's going to be there forever. And Dead Horse is, I think, 100% right. There's a lot more going into it than just the forums. It was the evolution of us going from broadband to, or from some dial-up to broadband back then. Video was becoming a thing, both our cameras and our phones and our broadband, so we could actually distribute video. So, you know, if forums would have been predominant when video was possible, we wouldn't have seen YouTube. The forums were already dominant, and if they could have incorporated video back then, I think we would have seen that. I really think the community is more valuable to humans than just the platforms, like either the video platforms or the image platforms like Instagram. It's really the community part of Instagram that people cherish, right? The ability to communicate on there. So that's what the forums had. It's just that everybody fled the forums because they were horribly managed. And they were angry, horrible Reddit people that were there. But that was seriously before Reddit even. So now those Reddit people can go hang out in Reddit and be mean to themselves. I think Dead Horse is onto something because what do we want to call them? Like niche video sharing sites don't need to be as big as YouTube. Like Kosh is saying, yeah, there's not going to be a Remington to fund every one, but there's certainly going to be gun shops and holster manufacturers and somebody new who's doing some service, gun training or gunsmithing, who can support many small video platforms and browsers. We don't need to have YouTube. You guys' points are valid, but remember back when we just searched Google and we didn't go to YouTube to search? So Dead Horse's point is valid. When we just search a browser, it's going to find videos no matter where they are on what platform, if it's 100 or if it's 1. The rest of my case.
Well, okay, I'll counter with this, and again, I'm not saying you're 100% wrong, Dead Horse. I just think that there's not really a large enough market for it to be self-sustaining. That's ultimately what I'm talking about here, is self-sustainment. So
let's talk real. Utah Gun Exchange or the gun streamer cost. I could put them up for 10 grand and have them up for maybe 6 months. So realistically, to have quite a bit of traffic for 6 months, I think that's doable. If I was a go-getter and a marketer, I could bring in more than 10 grand.
Yeah, especially if you got a couple big companies. Just one big company like Smith & Wesson could fork that 10 grand. Just one company. Do you have any idea how much in just like advertising companies like Glock and Smith & Wesson and shit spend every year just on like magazine advertisements?
Well, okay, hold on.
But they have like the main advertisements on a video. I like to call them video forum. That's what I think it should be called. Because I think the new GunTube or YouTube type gun thing should be like it's a video forum.
Let's go back to what G Webs was just saying. So $10,000 for what kind of content?
For one of those platforms, I'm saying the software that they used and the hosting to put it up.
Yeah. What about the high streaming, the high bandwidth 1080p video? How much is that?
Good to go. It's the same thing. That's what I'm saying.
What do you mean it's the same thing?
What do you mean? I'm talking about decent streaming, decent hosting. It's
$10,000 for 6 months. That includes bandwidth costs and storage of the videos.
It's not prohibitively expensive like it used to be. There's software people competing with each other. Yeah. I mean, it's not like it's going to cost you $1 billion to get a platform up and running. So,
well, there's a big difference between $1 billion and 10,000. I'm just saying, you said 10,000, and to me, that for 6 months I don't know. I don't know what kind of viewership we're talking about here. How much data we're throwing, right?
That's what I'm saying. If we're talking like a 4x4 forum, or like I do dressage or whatever that horseback riding is, or like I have pygmy goats, or like I like to bake cakes made out of some kind of rare frosting. I don't know. Like you could see these small forums coming up and doing their own video. It's not like we needed YouTube. YouTube just was a convenience for everybody.
I mean, that is a true statement. It's a convenience.
There's a lot of sites that
including the
host all
consumers.
their own video that don't link back to YouTube for the video. Like like there's even actual gun forums where you upload your video to the fucking forum, not linked to it on YouTube. And
Right.
then you can put like a 5-minute video or 10-minute video on the forum of you shooting.
Nobody's
And the forum
questioning.
is hosting that.
Nobody's questioning that you can do something. I'm questioning that it can't sustain the weight over time. That's my point. And I understand what Gio is saying.
How much gun traffic viewership is there, dude? I don't think it's like. I think you're thinking of like YouTube type traffic. I don't see that for a gun specific, a firearm specific video form like that, or video platform. I don't see that weight and strain being like who's the biggest fucking YouTubers, right? Think of the biggest YouTubers on YouTube and look at their live streams. How many people are tuning in?
Biggest
2,000, 2,000, 3,000?
Hold on, I'm not talking about the biggest YouTubers. No one here is talking about the biggest YouTubers. We're talking about the biggest or some of the biggest gun YouTubers.
That's what I'm talking about. The gun YouTubers, 2,000 or 3,000 people tuning into them live max. So that's not
what we're talking about. We're talking about the constant displaying of video, not just the live stream. The constant displaying of their videos. Right? Just TikTok, right? For example.
Oh, yeah, but I'm just bringing up the point of a live stream, though. Even on a live stream, the biggest gun YouTubers only draw 2,000 or 3,000 people watching at once live stream.
That's at one moment in time. That's not what we're talking about.
That's what I'm saying. So at one moment in time, whereas other YouTubers like that have like video game channels, 30,000 people watching, 80,000 people. It's not. I don't think it's the same kind of traffic.
I don't know why are you focused on the live streaming? I'm talking about.
It doesn't matter. You just
I think it's relevant.
Look at the exact same thing for views. The biggest gun channel YouTube people, look at how many views their video has, and then look at the biggest YouTuber in general and see what one of their video has. And his whole point is just that you don't need as much bandwidth because there won't be as much interest.
As much traffic. You're not going to have the same.
I kind of stand in the middle here. I think it's self-sustaining, so I'm not as far over as Hosh is, but I'm also going to comment to say it's not going to be as big as YouTube just because of the way.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Yeah, definitely. No, I don't think
anybody's claiming that. Nobody's claiming that.
Yeah, no one's claiming that, but I think it could be the biggest firearm video source.
So help me out.
Where anyone interested in firearms, instead of going to YouTube, they could very easily fucking go to that place.
So
where just like a ton of guys who are interested in SKSs don't go to an SKS specific forum. They end up at ar15.com because it's the first thing that pulls up in the links and it's the biggest.
So we're making the point that a lot of the gun YouTubers don't get a lot of views in comparison to larger YouTube. So where's the ad revenue coming from again? Like, why are ad companies going to want to pay for ads if they're not?
Because the ads are more focused, just like YouTube. They're focused.
Right, putting a big banner on the side of the interstate versus a small sign on the road into the
gun store right there. Yeah.
So once you have everybody focused down, now it's you only need, again, I was just putting numbers on it at 10 grand because that's the numbers I estimated, but
right.
Say it's 25 grand. So, now you only need to get 10 advertisers at this level as opposed to whatever a massive system might cost.
So who's doing this then?
But come on, without a doubt, video is where guns are going. when we're watching people talk about guns and stuff, we like to watch them play with the guns, show us things about the guns. We like to look at the guns. We like to watch people shoot the guns. We like to watch shit blow up from the guns. So that's why forums are, I wouldn't say they're dying, but they're definitely not like the thing, right? Like guys, like D-Web said, people are going to YouTube now to search instead of using Google. They're using YouTube as a search engine, and
So I
they're
think the
literally using
viewerships-
video instead of reading.
I think the viewership's a bit different if you compared forums to a video. And of course, it could be the same person. It could be a Smeggie, right? Smeggie's going to go to AR-15 or some other forum when he's looking for a targeted discussion about maybe something he searched for in Google, or maybe he's following some of his friends' threads or whatever. But when, like you just said, people turn to videos to see explosions and seeing a gun shoot and seeing a relatively not long form, but snappy review of a firearm, etc. Not a written prose and a long review. They're looking for something that's snappy and made for video, right? Those are the same people who at that moment probably aren't going to be that most incentivized to reach out to a specific new website or a different website. Not to say they won't, because they do. I know they do. But at the same time, when you go to Google and you type something in that you're searching for, do you go to the Vimeo version of that video, or do you go to the YouTube video of that video, that version?
That's what those guys were trying to suggest earlier. And yeah, I mean, that's.
Well, now see, if Vimeo, if it wasn't Vimeo, which is just all open source, if it was just very specific. So like, let's say I'm trying to learn about a new caliber, not even a gun. Okay. Just a specific fucking caliber, the 6.8 SPC. Well, guess what? There is a forum completely just about that.
I was going to say,
am I going to go to ar15.com and be talking to guys over there about the 6.8 SPC? Or do I want to go to the forum that is nothing about the 6.8, where those guys are totally hardcore into it? Which forum do I want to go to, where I'm probably going to get the best information, right? And so I see it easily being that same exact way, where you got a video, you got YouTube, some gun channels on YouTube, and then you got some gun channels on GunTube. Well, which one are you going to go to? Well, fuck, I'm going to go to GunTube. I'm going to go to the guys I really fucking are into it, and not the guy who one day showing me his new gun and the next day he's doing a review on his new Toyota Corolla.
As a layperson, taking your example as a layperson, and I wanted to search a particular caliber, I'm going to start at the first link on Google, and I'm going to work my way down. That's what I would do. I think most people would do that too. Regardless of the forum necessarily, right? You assume that they're on the forum for that caliber, being a new person for that caliber.
To be the first fucking link on there? Like, isn't that how a lot of like places actually get the first couple spots?
We're talking about multiple things here. So again, if people are going to put us in a situation where someone's going to Google to search for something, and then you're going to suggest that they're going to be more comfortable or they're more interested in going to YouTube versus some other URL with a link to a video, then I guess right now that would be correct, that most people are going to go to YouTube. But that I'm never going to go along with, so then you build everything to go to YouTube, because that's...
No, I'm not saying that either.
So once you... I don't think that the going to YouTube is set in stone. Like I say, in the past, and no one used Google. It took a while for people to get comfortable with Google, and now it happens to be the big one. But it's only going to take a matter of minutes once everybody gets sick of Google, and then it's Firefox or whatever the next cool one comes along, or maybe it's something else. Maybe we're sick of browsers already.
Right.
But anyway, I think that it wouldn't take much for people to get used to going back to their own branding again. Such and such dot their name, and people were very comfortable going to sites that whatever it is.
Or it's just your videos on your site and you're hosting them yourself.
Yeah, target.com or avocado.com or
So I know 1 terabyte is a shitload of video time, right? So how much would that cost to host that kind of capacity?
It's really
terabyte?
Or a terabyte or a couple terabytes. Like, well, that's a shitload of video, right?
It's not the storage necessarily, it's how fast you can serve it up.
It's all kinds of things. So you've got like your movie is inside the movie theater, but how many seats do you need in the movie theater? How many people are going to be watching a movie at one time? How many doors do you need? Are they all going to need to come in and watch that movie at once, like a drive-in theater, or are they going to come in over the course of a day and 100 people are going to watch the movie over a course of a day? So there's some bandwidth issues that are tough to predict, and you can only really start to determine them once you create a project and see how it's used. And then to put it in perspective, though, the most expensive hosting for unlimited and it'll throttle you and stuff is hundreds a month. I mean, we're not talking tens of thousands a month. We're not talking thousands a month. So to have competent people supporting competent software, I'm still pretty confident that you could do it for $10,000 for a few months. You could get up and go and build something nice like what they've got going in Utah. And like I say, have competent people to support it. And that's what it is. You have to, it's sort of like a restaurant. You can theorize how much you're going to do business, but you really got to build the damn restaurant, see if people like your food. And then once you've been in business for a few months, get an idea of what kind of hosting you're really going to need. For example, again, if everyone came in at prime time to watch Never Enough Ammo and Yankee, you're going to need 800 seats in an auditorium and enough shitters so people can get up. Right? You're going to need enough doors and the fire exits and shit. And then the rest of the time, it's ghost town. So, you know, you need a room for the Cave and Ellis and, you know, somebody else to do a show here and there. So, you know, you don't necessarily have to buy a theater. You can buy one that has like a diaphragm, you know, that can expand to take a Yankee once in a while and then shrink back down. But all that stuff, again, it gets determined by use, and then you start to figure out what kind of package you need. But it's definitely doable. And so where you're saying, like, where do you get the money? I think you'd get it because it'll be like craft breweries. Sure, you can go to Walmart and buy beer, buy Budweiser and it's not going anywhere. But now people are into craft brew, right? You appreciate something that comes up because of whatever. You like Flath or somebody. Hey, that guy works, and 6 months of the year he makes a cool YouTube channel or whatever. I think we could see that where people are like, oh, I'm a connoisseur of all this ground up new media, and I don't want to hear the black and white from politics and the black and white from who's good and who's bad, depending on what agenda they're on politically, and get all that nuance from what we're doing, right? And again, once a search engine figures out that that's what people want, then search engines don't just look to YouTube. They start looking at all these places for all different kinds of factors on what, you know, is a valid result.
Here's the scary thought. Everybody gets tired of...
We're basing this whole thing on the idea that YouTube is going to start kicking out a bunch of gun people. So now those YouTube search results or the Google search results don't point to YouTube.
I was just going to say that.
You know, Hitchcock is deleted. Geo deleted. Like, so they don't exist on YouTube. So the number one search engine when you type in gun websites will pop up over on the GunTube instead of on YouTube.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. That's once that starts getting big, because again, they'll know it's their search engine. They're going to be like, well, I just don't want to show their stuff anymore.
I don't think that I think they do like all the bottom spots by how popular it is. So from like maybe number 5 down. But I think like the top 2 or 3 or 4 spots on Google, like search results are paid for, not by site traffic. I'm pretty sure I heard that. I don't know if it's true, but I'm pretty sure like the top results on Google are not like the most popular sites. It's those are the paid for.
Right, but you're still...
Which sometimes are the most popular though, you know what I mean? Because they're paid for.
That's kind of dodging the point though, because YouTube is making money off the most popular gun channels. They are making money off of gun videos, and they're still saying we want to get rid of. We don't want the money that's on the table, guys. We don't want it. We don't want your content. We're gonna leave the money on the table. Take it away. That's basically what they're saying. So the thought that they would say like, oh no, but we'll still take your AdWords money. There's not really. I don't know if that is true. Not to say it couldn't, but I just why would they go through the effort of again using Smeggies' example that you're going to have channels being so disenfranchised from the YouTube that they go away from YouTube and start something else. And YouTube's like, oh, okay, that's fine. We won't get the money from that anymore. to think that they're going to still take the ad revenue money or the AdWords. I don't know. I don't know how that would work. Maybe it would, because they wouldn't get the political backlash from it, because they wouldn't see it, right? People wouldn't see it necessarily. I gotta help my wife. I'll be right back. I gotta take care of something in the house. 30, 60 minutes. I'll be back. Hope the cave's still here.
He's crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just me personally, dude. Okay, why am I here on gun channels right now versus why am I like just not like in the YouTube comment section or just hanging out on AR15.com or whatever? 'Cause, like videos is the future. Video's the future, man. It is. Okay, like you get some things with video you cannot get in text on the forum. Okay, especially when it has to do with firearms. For example, let's say I go on a forum and I say, "Hey, what's this best thing that I need for this thing?" And the guy who responds to me answers, "I don't know if that guy just bought his first gun yesterday. I don't know if he's only owned one gun his whole life. I don't know if that guy is anti-gun and giving me bad information. I don't know if that guy is the greatest gunsmith in the world and I should do exactly what he says." Like, I have no fucking clue, but on video you can kind of get a sense for that when you watching people, especially when you're watching them shoot the guns or show the guns, and then you're like, "Oh, okay, that guy really owns that gun," at least, versus someone else. Fuck, I don't even know if he even owns the gun he's talking about, that he's responding to, like maybe he's never even owned a fucking revolver, but yet he's, talking to you about him, so.
Talking about me, I'm sitting right here.
So what happened? Did Night Strike let you down? So you guys had to come over to the hit part of the Tuesday night show? I noticed that
Oh, you're talking to Ellis and them? Yeah. I don't know.
crickets.
Now they're being quiet, I guess. I noticed
talking
Gunpowder was out there. I sent you a link. You can join if you want.
Who?
Gunpowder. I noticed her in the comments, but whatever.
So I bought a Voltor iMod stock yesterday, and I got notification this morning it shipped, and then I got a message around noon that it was broken.
What?
Yeah. So before the postman could even pick it up, because like the notification was like, like, oh hey, like they printed a label, like we're gonna pick it up kind of thing, and then the seller emailed me and was like, yep, it's broken. And
did the seller fall on it?
I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know. It sucks, but it was like a used one, right? Because like, I can't like it was a good deal. It was $40 plus like $5 shipping or something, and so it was like $45 for a Volt.
Oh, they might have been putting it in the box and been like, "Oh crap, there's a big crack in it."
Yeah, something like that happened, and but at least they caught it, which I'm appreciative of. But it sucks because like I can't find a Voltar for even like close to that kind of money, so I'm gonna have to hold off on the stock because that's my budget right now. I can't spend over like $45 on a stock for.
Stuff's made in Tucson.
Well, that's what I got. I got the Voltar buffer tube for the AK. That's the buffer tube system I went with, was the Voltar buffer tube, and so I wanted to get a Voltar stock to go on the Voltar buffer tube. That's kind of the whole thing, and I don't have any Voltar stocks. I've never used them before, so I was like, cool, I'm going to get something I've never used.
Yeah, I always hate that when you get the shipping thing, because it's like, great, you print a label. How do I know you have to put the thing in the box and set the box out for the guy to pick up? Like, it could still be a couple days before it actually hits the road.
And I really like that iMod one because it wasn't like the SOP mod. The SOP mod, I kind of don't like the looks of that one. That it looks just too much like a regular M4 stock. And but that iMod one was like really good looking. I thought. I thought,
Well, what do they normally run? You said you got it $40 used. What's
like
is it?
I think normal price is like $100. $98. Yeah, $100. Yeah, they're all $98. So
What do you know about Voltar?
I don't know anything about Voltar other than they're supposed to make good stuff. That's why I wanted to use it. Like that's why I was like all excited to use it.
So this is from our tour in 2010, which might have been our first one. So Voltar is a company that started in, I think, Montana or Wyoming with Eric. And then it was bought by Abrams Aviation, right? And that's the place here in Tucson. That's the front door of it. And they do aviation manufacturing, all kinds of cool stuff. They've got parts on Voyager. So they've created parts that are outside of our solar system. And they do all kinds of cool military contracts and stuff, and like super high-end aviation stuff. So whatever these credentials are, they're all impressive and shit. And this is an example of the vibration welding they can do. So they can make these like super intricate 3D aluminum things that get like heated and vibrated to become one piece of metal. Let's see, this was, so they took me on this big tour. It's on an old, Tucson was aviation, like, as aviation was invented, Tucson was part of it. So it's on an old airport. So the buildings that we're going through here are like metal buildings all in a big long row. Like they're literally built down the runway of this old airport. So they've got different divisions or portions. And when they bought Voltar, it like worked for everything. So they've done all kinds of work for them, and it's all in-house in this massive factory. So they can do like milling, they can do stamping, and literally all different kinds of processes. That's the inside of that crazy three-dimensional like vortex.
Oh, that's fucking badass, dude.
They put this thing all together, they shove it into this thing that whatever heats it up, and then they vibrate it all together, and it's one piece of metal after that. So then Voltar is like sections of the big factory, and like, it's showing us the tour. That's Eric. He'll like be walking around showing us stuff, and then like, boom, here's a bunch of weapons. Like it's a bunch of fucking crazy aircraft parts, or like little thing you can't tell it's some hinge or something. And then, oh, here's an obvious like chunk of a gun. So Eric is a pretty cool dude. He's been in the industry for a long time, and he was the curator of the Knights Armament Museum in Florida. Knights Armament did some kind of deal with Colt and has all the Colt prototypes from Armalite. So Eric knows Stoner and he knows Kalashnikov. And somewhere in here I got the picture, I'll tell you. So this is more pictures to kind of show the scale of that place. And if they were in order, it'd be a little bit more impressive as we like walk down these really long buildings. This is their upper, and I don't know if you've seen the Voltar upper. It doesn't have the forward assist.
Yeah.
Right, it's a modular piece.
It bolts on.
Yeah, it bolts on because he designed it that way, because this piece of aluminum isn't like, these are aircraft manufacturers. So when they were like, we can use aluminum, or we can have aluminum extruded to our specs. So this is like aircraft quality spec. In other words, like there's giant Play-Doh machines extruding aluminum, and molten. Like all these grains are exactly where they want them and stuff. So that this is like, legit aircraft quality type of shit. And that was part of that design, so that they could still extrude it and whatever. So he was explaining all that stuff to us.
Yeah, and the forward assist doesn't got to be that strong. That part doesn't got to have any strength behind it, right? So that's pretty. I didn't know that. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, it's so that they can keep the crystallization of the grain of the aluminum at this tensile strength or whatever. So this is what their blanks look like, and that's all part of it. So that they can get those blanks at like whatever tolerance, so that the rest of their shit is true. So you can tell from these pictures, like, these are multi-million-dollar, mills, and there's just like rooms and rooms of them. So Voltar is just a portion of Abrams. Like they're pumping out stuff for all kinds of aircraft stuff. And you can't really take too many pictures. So a lot of these I wasn't supposed to publish because of their contracts and stuff. Like if this disc got photographed, and Boeing got all mad because this is some proprietary engine disc or some shit. This was their PKM receiver. So Eric got a bunch of Bulgarian PKM kits, and they were making them for contractors, just full auto. And everybody knew about it because he's in the
I
collector's.
got one of those.
The full auto ones overseas?
Yeah, well, I got the receiver, and Eric built the gun into full auto for our '07 shop.
There you
And
go.
basically, I was telling Dead Horse about this earlier. It was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I was talking to Eric and got the receiver, and I got the PKM kit from him. He had like 6 or 7 of them at the time. I bought 5 of them, sold 4 of them, kept 1, and basically had that one converted over to full auto by Eric, and basically then shipped it to our shop. And basically, he was building them originally for the Marine Corps, and they were testing their PKMs at full auto, set on gas position 3 for dirty, cold and dirty conditions. That gives the most gas to the actual gun. So basically, if you do that to a regular PKM receiver, it will crack.
Right.
There's a
it'll blow
spot.
out.
Yes. And basically, Eric's receivers won't. And Eric actually went to work for Bravo Company here not too long ago.
Yeah. So he's not with Volter anymore. So,
No.
but that's how many kits they had. They had receivers for their kits. So this was when we went over there because they were all just doing those semi-auto receivers. But that's when I fell in love with PKMs, is shooting theirs. So this is probably the office area, and this is up front. They're showing off a bunch of like the craziness that they can do, and like they've done work for basically every branch. There's all kinds of neat stuff that they've done. So this picture here, you've seen that picture of Kalashnikov and Stoner holding each other's guns and laughing. Like this is the same time. Like they were all standing together, and Kalashnikov's laughing because they made a joke about this guy being bald, about Eric being bald. So I thought that's pretty cool. He's got like a picture from that meeting or whatever that everybody's so familiar with.
Yeah, I remember that as well.
So of course they own Milcor, so they shoot or they make those grenade launchers here in Tucson also. Plus all the Marines like make them and they send them back like by the fucking pallet, and they're back there like constantly rebuilding them. So this was a bunch of the PKM receivers again. I guess I can put that. So this was just a big Metro rack full of registered receivers. That was fun. And then they had a big room for I don't know if I have a picture of all the parts kits, but it's like a cargo container full of parts kits back then.
That is awesome.
When did you go, G?
I did a couple of tours because Eric's in the club. So the first one, this was the first one, I think, in 2010. And then we did one in 12, and then another one, I think. But he's not with them anymore. It's awesome. I really like looking at machines and shit, and they do everything. Like, they do a lot of cool shit there. And then the owner is a pilot, so in the back of the whole place, they've got a couple of his World War II planes that they'll, like, when they get bored, you know, when these kind of dudes get bored, they go make parts for the World War II planes and shit. Okay, that's the end of it.
Yeah, have you been over to see Eric since he moved over to Bravo Company?
No, because he's in, like, Montana or some shit, I thought, no.
Well, I've never been to where Bravo is, so I don't know.
I think it's in, like, Wisconsin or Minnesota or some shit. He's up north there with them. But he brought Tango down to town, and, of course, Volter, and I think a couple others.
Yeah, he's a smart man.
It's a really cool company, though, yeah.
Yeah, I think they are in Wisconsin. Because I've bought parts directly from Bravo Company off their website, and they actually have really reasonable shipping charges. And
Yes,
I've bought in stuff from them, like a front sight post pins or like a front sight post retainer end cap, just like little tiny parts, and it's like $3.99 shipping and stuff. So like they don't like screw you on shipping like some other places do, where it's $10 for a tiny little part. So I really like to buy from Bravo Company, and I watch out for their Blum uppers. Like every year they put out like a batch of like their blend uppers they made for that year, and I try and always get my hands on like one or two of those. And yeah.
Yeah, they always have a great good price on like their key mod quick disconnect, real little short vertical grips, and their direct mount to the key mod. And basically, you can look around and can't find them any cheaper than what they sell them right there for. And I
Yeah.
just buy them right there, and because I don't have an account with Bravo Company. So basically, I get them, and they don't charge nothing because they use the United States Postal Service to ship their stuff. But I've never noticed where it was coming from. I didn't really care. You know what I'm saying? I just
Yeah, and actually they ship fast. Like I've bought from them on a Friday and they shipped it out like Friday night and they shipped it out Saturday morning, and it literally actually got picked up by the mailman and everything. Like not just a label printed, but they actually shipped it the next morning, Saturday morning, over the weekend. And then like I had it like that Tuesday. And so like they ship stuff pretty fucking fast, and I like them for small parts, little detents and pins and stuff like that, because they have good prices on that, and their stuff is real quality. Like their detents, like the brass on their detents are actually like hardened brass. They don't like none of their small parts are like cheap. So whereas some companies might make some really nice parts, but when it comes down to the small detents and pins, they're like skipping on those, buying them cheap, from cheaper sources and not like true mil spec. So um, Bravo Company is good for all those tiny little small parts. But thanks, G. I appreciate that about Voltor. I had no clue. Like I've never used any of their stuff. I knew that their stripped uppers were supposed to be just phenomenal. They were supposed to be like really, really good, but I've never used any of their stuff. So,
and what's neat is like they employ quite a few engineers and shit. They're all super proud of working there, and they're good people. They sponsor a lot of shooting teams and stuff, obviously. I don't know if it's obvious.
have you used their AK adapter thing for the stock? Have you used that before on an AK?
No. I'm not into Americanizing them. I would, but I never have. Never used any of their stuff, really. Actually, I should say I have one of their AR like thingies I put on my Ninja Glock.
Yeah. I'm still gonna search for that iMod stock. I'm gonna find a deal on one again used. I can't.
What's cool about was that they had that little jigsaw looking sawtooth pattern to it, so it would rip your beard out. So that part was annoying.
Yeah, it does look. That doesn't look too fun.
for the time being, Dead Horse, just stick a damn BMS on that Voltar AR-15 extension tube that goes on the AK, like I've got on my SAR-1. You won't be disappointed, bro, until you can find one of those Voltar stocks cheap enough.
Yeah. I don't know. I was hoping for something heavier. I really was, though. I want to balance it out, and I'm afraid it's going to be like way, way too light on that rear end. I was kind of like looking for a heavier stock too, and plus the storage that Voltar iMod thing had was like a big bonus.
Yeah, I don't. I've got my whole AK traditional. I've got Polish wood on the front of it, red Polish wood, and then I've got a Bakelite red grip, and I just have the adjustable stock because, to be honest with you, I couldn't find any good wood for a stock, or I would have just put a regular wood stock on it. And now that I have that on there, it's kind of nice because my girl can shoot it. I can have, friends shoot it without having that little miniature baby stock on there.
I take it back. The one I bought that was canceled wasn't an iMod. I got it mixed up. It was an eMod. It was the Voltor eMod. That's the one. Yeah, see, it's the iMod. It's the iMod that I think looks like a regular M4 stock. And that's why I'm like, just looks like, but just fatter with like that battery storage. But the eMod looks like something different. And that's what I'm going for.
Okay, well, I'll keep my eyes peeled for one.
Yeah, and FTE has to be FTE too.
Okay.
Let's see, stock only is $115.
God dang.
Yeah. As I was saying, for $45, I thought I got like a good deal, dude. I was just like, damn, yeah, like $45, cool. Like, that's a good deal. I was all happy about it. I was like, okay. What I'm going to do is I'll just probably save my money, and then I'm just going to take this Arsenal furniture off this AK, and I'm going to sell this Arsenal furniture. And I looked on eBay, and like it seemed like brand new, it was like $100, but like used, it seemed like like they were still selling for like $70 or something. So I'll put it on there for like 50, and then it should sell pretty quick. I think like a grip, stock, and handguard like for 50. I don't know. Maybe it'll sell. I don't know.
Yeah, that'll probably sell.
And then I'll use that towards the thing. That's what I should do. Is I should just take all that furniture tomorrow and take a picture of it and throw it up on eBay.
Well, I'm just minding my business here, looking at Instagram. Has anybody looked at their Instagram feed lately?
A little bit ago, yeah.
So I'm just scrolling down here, looking, and then I get to this part where it goes, review changes to our terms and data policy 2 hours ago. And when you click on it, it tells you a bunch of shit, and you got to click agree to new terms of service.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that.
When's the last time you updated your Instagram?
The app, not too far ago, like the other day, really.
I haven't updated mine in forever.
Yeah, I read, like the other day, I pulled Facebook off my phone. It saved a bunch of space on the phone so that I could update some of my other apps that were, needed space. And I've been updating Instagram since then.
I go with if the thing still works and there isn't like a huge like, oh, now you can whatever draw a cartoon with it, like then I would just won't update unless it forces me to. But like Instagram works, I see all the pictures I want to see. I'm not missing any features or whatever. I think I updated when they added the what do they call it, like the stories or whatever up top. I was like, oh, that's like a whole new thing. Okay, I'll update so that I can get that thing on there.
So I go to my other account and I don't get that alert about the terms of service.
Yeah, I have not seen a terms and service alert.
Yeah, I'm scrolling like all the way through my feed right now, and I'm like way far down in pictures. And
mine was 2 hours ago. I'll go look at it and do a screen capture for you.
Oh, I'm at 6 hours ago.
Yeah, I'm at 10. See nothing. Absolutely nothing. Sing it again, y'all. Yesterday's asking what furniture are you selling, Dead Horse?
Arsenal furniture, black Arsenal AK furniture.
I know yesterday is a big AK dude. We might have a connection here.
Yeah, it's the grip, the handguard, the bottom and upper handguard, and the fixed stock. And The stock has like the sling loop and the little trap door for a cleaning kit or whatever. And the butt pad. And I would definitely rate it in like fair shape. It's not like trashed or anything. So
Yeah, we might have a Gun Channels connection. Wouldn't you like to see it go to a good home?
yeah, I'm never gonna use this shit, dude. And if it buys me a E-mod stock, I am all happy.
He'll give you the buddy price, only $2,000.
No, dude, I think $50 is a fair deal because when I looked online, they were all those Arsenal stock sets new were like 90, $100, and all the used ones were all like 70, 80. And so that's what I'm saying. I think $50 like was like a good to just to sell it fast, to just to get the money fast to get a stock coming. I thought it.
Can I get a 10% commission?
Okay, I just did the thing I got there. What it looks like.
Huh.
What are you showing, G-Webs? I don't see it.
On my Instagram.
I don't see you screen sharing.
No, I'm not. It's on my Instagram.
Oh, okay. I'll go.
Take it easy. See it, try.
Yeah, night, guys.
But
Yeah,
you should
man.
be petting that dog belly.
Yeah, go get that doggy.
Yo.
Speaking of dog belly, I was just down in California and I was hanging out at Hosh's house. And that dog is also neglected. That dog needs belly rubbings.
This dog gets plenty of belly rubs. She's just always sad. She's depressed. She needs medicine.
I'm sure there's someone in California that can get you doggy antidepressants.
Yeah, just mail them. I'll send my info in the chat.
Probably just full of weed.
I mean, it can be for dogs.
Yeah, I looked at in that part where you're at, G-Webs. I
Alright,
looked on
guys.
my Instagram, and there's nothing there where you're at on mine.
Yeah, I was just telling him I was going through my Instagram feed and I got a terms of service alert. And I click on it and it makes you click on the update or agree.
Yeah, your Instagram experience isn't changing, and you still own the photos and videos. We're giving you better ways to access your data and understand how it's used. Instagram's been part of Facebook since 2012, and we're making some corporate changes. Going forward, our team will reflect that Facebook Inc. is responsible for Instagram. The Instagram app and the way we process data are not changing. Blah, 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 something about to help distinguish humans from bots and detect fraud. We can use and share information for research, especially in ways to help us keep our community safe on Instagram, like to understand and prevent bullying and harassment. The policy has more information about what we collect from your activity and our partners, how we connect information across Facebook companies, and how we personalize your experience, including ads.
And how we sell your personal information to the Russians.
And how we're going to kick people off that we don't like.
Yep.
So anyways, I think if yesterday pulls the trigger on this furniture buy, the Smeggie Cave should get a 10% commission. A finder's fee. I don't care which one of you pay me, but someone's got to pay me.
Well, I'll tell you what. There. I'll give you a finder's fee.
Woohoo!
Let's see.
Actually, you know what? I take that back because I forgot. Yesterday sent me a message the other day and was like, "What's your address?" I'm like, "Why?" It's like, "I want to send you something." And I was like, why?"
Like,
It's like, "'Cause you're cool." And apparently, I have no idea what it is, but he's like, you were talking that you were missing something, and so I'm gonna give it to you. I like I said, I have no idea what it is. I'm hoping it's that full auto Kalashnikov, like actually from Russia. Like that'd be
Nice.
pretty cool. That's always been a dream of mine, but we'll see, whatever it is. And so because of that, that counts as my finder's fee. So we're all square. And since I know he's out there listening, I just want to be able to say in person, or at least in voice, thank you very much for doing that. That's very nice of you, whatever it may be. Unless it's like a bag of poop or something, in which case then you suck. Yeah, I forgot about that till just now. See, this is why gun channels is so awesome.
So I just had the radio playing, and they said something about a murdering with a gun.
Yeah, a guy ran up to and shot 2 cops through a window at a restaurant. And then they said, now here's the strange part. They said that like when the other cop showed up, they found the suspect dead outside, but the 2 cops were dead inside. So obviously I think the cops were able to return fire. I'm just assuming that though. But that they returned fire and was able to kill him, so he didn't get away with it.
Florida?
I'm not sure where I saw that it happened. I don't remember.
It did not happen in Florida.
No.
No, I want to say Chicago.
I don't know. Florida sounded kind of familiar, actually.
No, it better not be Florida, dude. Jesus criminy, I'm moving.
It was like Shark. What was the place?
Gilchrist County?
I've never heard of that. That's like Goat Yodeling County.
Breaking news out of North Central Florida right now. A gun.
Oh, are you kidding me?
I don't know. 3 p.m.
But 20-year-olds can't buy rifles anymore, so I thought crime stopped.
I remember my stay at the Blue Beach Hotel in Miami.
But there are things we can control. Eating more natural foods, using more natural products.
I don't even know where they were playing from. I literally was just battling stupid pop-ups that were playing music, so I think it looked like it happened in Florida.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard story out of Central Florida, and then
That's what I heard as well.
and then a bunch of shenanigans happened.
Crazy dude walking up and shooting 2 police is hardly a mass.
Oh, I wouldn't call that a mass, but it's just that almost honestly sometimes that kind of it's either one, it's just a dude mad at cops or whatever, or it's a suicide by cop. Because, that happens sometimes too, where people just go up and like basically force the cops to end up shooting them. And if they hit a couple of them on the way down, then I don't know. In their twisted, sick head, they're happy about it. People are fucked. Some vast, small minority of people are fucked.
The only thing that we can actually hope for out of this is that the shooter is one of those Black Lives Matters people. And this was for some, gangbanger that got shot that they think shouldn't have been shot. And that's why they decided to attack the police department.
I don't think we should hope for that. I don't really care what the dude's motive was. He's a bad guy.
I just hope they don't focus on whatever gun he used and like, it was a semi-auto or a revolver or whatever it was. I hope they just don't focus on the gun. They focus on that he was a bad guy. Like, this guy was like,
it's the career. Because we've seen that before when stuff happens with a handgun, and like, I've heard people say like, thank God it was only a handgun. They can't use this against us. And the next day you're sitting there watching CNN. They're like, imagine if it was an AR-15. Like, we all know it would have been worse. Like, I hate that term. Like, what it would have happened if it was this or that. It's like, no, we don't know because it didn't fucking happen that way. Like, you just know it was a thing. It's like, no, we don't.
I was worried that it was some copycat from the crazy shit that's happened on the state historically. This just sounds like a random incident. Police officers for whatever the specific reason, but not a, let's pay homage to our Fuhrer bullshit.
Yeah, what do you mean historically on this day? I can't remember what happened. Like, if there's something big, I'm sorry, but I don't remember offhand. Like,
Columbine, no.
oh wait, I guess today's the 20th. Was Columbine on the 20th or 19th?
No, it was the 20th.
Okay, so
yeah, that was their whole thing. Was they were all like, "Yay, Hitler!" Like, you fucking bastards.
Did anybody pull up more information on this yet?
Nope.
I bet it's so early.
I was just concerned that it was some of the bigger, because right now again I think that this copycat shit is encouraged by the media. You know that they're going to be super famous if they tried some.
Oh yeah.
I think that that this early on, that usually when we turn to the media and we go to like a lot of news sources, what we most of the time hear is speculation.
Yeah,
because they're trying to put shit out there, and we're hearing false eyewitness testimonies, and we're hearing just all this speculation and bullshit. So a lot of times, like when something like this happens, I don't even tune in for like 3 or 4 days, really, and then I'll go actually read a story about it and kind of see what's like kind of like what they've figured out after some time.
That's exactly how I am, and then I also try not to talk about it too much, because even though, okay, yeah, we got 12 viewers right now, we're still kind of media too, so I don't want to be part of the problem. So fuck this guy, he's crazy, whatever the hell happened, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, not, I don't mean it as in like I don't care, is like obviously it sucks, but I don't like giving them the time of day, even if it's just for 12 people.
You can't be brave if only wonderful things ever happen to you.
very true.
You know who said that? I bet you $100 nobody knows.
I didn't hear the quote. Sorry, I had my
Dolly Parton.
What was it?
Oh shit! Smeggie was almost close. You can't be brave if you've only ever had wonderful things happen to you.
Kenny Rogers.
Nope. Close? No, not really. He was close.
Any more guesses? Otherwise, I win.
I don't know.
3 names.
What?
There's 3 names. That's the clue. The person has 3 names instead of just 2.
Oh.
Anyway, Harry Tyler Moore.
Oh, I would have never got that.
No.
Yay, I win. I was closest.
What was it, G?
Mary Tyler Moore.
I can remember watching her back in the 70s.
I can remember watching that show, but not having any clue what they were laughing about, but just laughing because everybody was having such a good time, and it was like such like, or natural.
What were you, about 6 or 7?
Yeah, definitely younger than what I knew. I knew they were laughing about something. I just didn't know any of the topics or anything yet.
Yeah, I knew that it was adult related because my parents were laughing, and I would laugh just to, act like I got it, but I didn't really know what the hell that they were talking about.
Well, you would just laugh because they would break up laughing in their skits or whatever. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess there's probably stuff like that nowadays. Dave is like that sometimes.
Me?
No, this cave, Smeggies Cave.
The cave, sometimes you're just laughing because the rest of us are and you don't know what we're talking about.
Like they're talking about some adult topic. Ha 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 ha. The adults are laughing.
Sometimes it just feels good to chuckle.
Yep. That's why the cave's awesome. What's up with these flat wire springs? What's the dealio?
They don't
Why are
make
they
a
cool?
twang noise when you shoot, and they say they hold a more consistent spring weight.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not 100% sure on that. I know they're
I am.
quieter.
Oh, I'm way sure. I've been using flat wire springs now I started with the Tubbs flat wire, and then I went to the Strike Industries, and now I'm on the Spinta Precision ones. And the flat wire springs are the single best upgrade you can possibly do for an AR, for definitely under $20. I think that actually does something beneficial that really gives you a benefit. The recoil impulse is softer. You have more load on your bolt, so you have longer dwell times. Less friction. It does get rid of the twang noise. The cycle compression tests have shown that it far outlasts traditional stainless and carbide springs, and it's really superior in every single possible way. It's something that's like all around, like there's no real drawbacks. You get more consistent ejection. I can set up a 5-gallon bucket and shoot one of my rifles, and every single fucking case lands in that 5-gallon bucket. No joke.
I thought it had to do with the ammo though, because if you load ammo inconsistently, some of it shoots way far,
I
and some
shoot
of it just kind
Tula.
of dribbles out.
I shoot Tula, and it's pretty much right in that bucket. So it's even the ammo is not that inconsistent. Like usually, it's something to do with the spring or something else. Your gun's overgassed, or you have another issue going on there when you get really more inconsistent ejection patterns. Because even Tula ammo, which isn't known to be consistent, even that puts them in the same bucket. So
Tula, I got a max deviation of 22 feet per second. And
that's not bad at all. You know, like precision, you want like 7 or 8, but but like for plinking ammo, that's fucking totally acceptable in my book.
Yeah. I was even surprised by the feet per second out of my AK. I was getting 23. What was it? Or no, hold on. No. 20. What the fuck was I getting? Was it 2730? Yeah, it was kind of fast too. And I was like rather amazed. And I'm using a radar chrono. So I know that's reading correctly. And I've got it written down in there in my logbook, but I can't remember exactly what the hell I wrote down.
But you just get a lot more for sure consistent ejection. That's the first thing you notice, and that's the first thing I tell people to do. Is I tell them don't even put it in your gun till you go to the range, and go and actually shoot your gun just like in normal configuration. Look at where your shells go, and get a feel for your gun, and then just hurry and swap it out and shoot your gun again. And now watch where your shells are going. Watch your ejection pattern and actually feel it in your shoulder and the impulse on your hand, and and you just instantly notice a benefit. And your gun shoots flatter, it stays flatter.
And they're what, like $10 something like that?
They're $20 shipped, dude. $20 shipped. So shipped to your door, $20. So for $20 or under, it is hands down the best, most beneficial upgrade you can do to an AR. I'm just saying, for real. It's just it literally is that way.
Well, I definitely trust your opinion with ARs. You know, kind of have a couple of them.
Well, that's why I have them almost in almost all my guns. Now I have a braided wire spring now that I've been testing, and I think it is better than a standard spring, but I don't think it's better than the flat wire. So that's just my opinion. But I'm testing one of those 42 coil braided springs right now, and you know, so I have that in my main shooter, which is an M&P, and it's, you know, it's doing just fine. Like, you know, I can't find anything wrong with it.
Yeah, I've got a lot of just stainless steel DPMS springs, like probably 20 carbine length, brand new, and probably 15 or 10 of the freaking rifle ones. And then I've got probably 15 ARs with all round springs in them. It would cost me a fortune to go to flat spring. I'll just wait until they wear out.
And it can cure bolt bounce issues if you have any kind of issue with bolt bounce, because you're maybe running too light of a buffer, or you just have a really worn bolt, and especially if you put it in a gun that's well used, you'll notice a huge benefit right there. In a gun that's really, really well broken in.
Are they full auto rated?
Oh yeah, yeah, yep. And you'll notice
they would probably help with bolt bounce on a full auto a lot better.
Don't be afraid that you ordered the wrong one. When you pull out your old one and you notice the flat wire is like 4 inches longer, like you didn't order the wrong one. That's the way they come, because they're flat. You're able to have a lot more coils, which absorbs more energy, and like I said, you have a stronger load on the bolt while it's in battery than you do from like a mil spec type spring. So you have a longer dwell time, but once that spring starts to collapse, the load actually becomes less than a standard mil spec spring.
Sounds like extra metal ounces equal pounds.
Well, no, it's flat metal, so it's actually like when I weighed it, I think it like literally weighed something like 0.1 ounces more, like, because it's flat. It's like it's pretty much the same fucking weight, even though it's longer and there's more coils. But it comes out to being pretty much the same weight as a standard spring. I have it listed on my Instagram what the weight was compared to a standard.
Dead horse.
Yo,
have you messed with one of those JP silent capture setups?
Okay. Well, see, I've messed with one, but I haven't bought one because the one I messed with was like broken. And my buddy bought one. He put it in his rifle, and his rifle stopped cycling. He was like getting like super light primer strikes and stuff like that. And he brought the gun over to me, and we went out and shot it. And what was happening is when the bolt would go back into battery, it would bounce back a little bit and stop. And so then when the hammer would come up and hit the firing pin, then it would fully push the bolt into battery. But the carrier was absorbing so much of that energy, it was getting a light primer strike from pushing it just that last tiny bit into battery, right? And so I instantly swapped out to a mil spec spring because I brought one of my rifles and to swap parts from, and I instantly swapped out to a mil spec spring, took it away. It gun worked again. So and then we got online and we looked and we found other reports and high speed footage of those having bolt bounce, and especially in full auto guns. But you know, they have bolt bounce to them, or they can. You know, so that can be one of the issues of those. So I've never bought one because of that, and it's kind of adding more complication to it because now you got two springs and you got this center guide rod, and
it's a
Yeah, now there's all these. You're adding extra parts and all this extra shit and complexity into there, and and it's definitely heavier.
Yeah.
Than just a buffer and a standard buffer and a spring. And I don't know. I'm not convinced that it's beneficial in any way compared to how beneficial a flat wire or even maybe one of those braided coil springs is. So
Yeah,
that's
I've
what.
got buddies that buys just about anything that comes out new. Got more brains or more money than brains. And he comes in the shop one day and he's like, Dave, it's like, I bought this fucking JP silent capture. It's got this 2-spring setup so you can tune your recoil pulse. And I'm like, well, I'm thinking to myself, well, what would you need to tune? Why do you have 2 springs? Why are they trying to make it more complex than it needs to be? It's like the wheel is round. What's going to go on? What are you trying to accomplish by putting all this? And the part was like almost $100 or something. So he's like, I can't tune it. So he gives me this big bag of springs, small ones and big ones. And I'm like, and they're all different colors. And I guess, you call up JP and I'm telling him, hey, look, I just got a customer drop this rifle off. I need to know what the color of the spring weight is. So they gave it to me. They gave me a file, sent me a PDF so that I could, set it up. And I'm in our range and I'm shooting regular M193 55 grain. And I'm shooting it, and one time it shoots 5 rounds, and then it freaking failures to eject, and I'm like, the hell is going on? So I lighten the spring load, and I keep messing with it, and it keeps, like, no matter what I do, no matter what direction I go in, it keeps failing. So I go to take it out, and when I'm pulling it out, the freaking thing breaks, and I'm like, I just told the guy, I was like, dude, send this back. This is junk. I'm like, I put a new spring in it for him and just did the same thing. I'm like, there you go. You can keep that spring, send that back, and don't put
And
that
it's
kind
funny. It's funny though because everything JP makes, I love. Other than that thing, like every single thing they make is like super nice, beautiful. Their gas blocks, their barrels, like everything that they make is fucking awesome, right? Like except for like when it comes to that one thing, I'm just like, nah, I'm not about that.
Yeah, me exactly. I was like, that's just overcomplicating a simple
Especially
problem.
for the money, man, too, and like maybe for guys who only have experience in pistols and they're used to like captured guide rods in their pistols, I could see a guy who's like building an AR and being like, oh, that's a real simple setup. Like, it's, maybe going that way or something. But no, the one that we had here the one that we had here didn't even have different spring weights, dude. So I don't know which one you had. The one we had just had different weights, actual weights. And you could tune it from like a 3-ounce weight or a 4 or 5-ounce just by changing the weight at the end. But the springs, like I'm sure you could change the springs, but it didn't come with no springs.
No, this was like the original one. You couldn't change the weights out in it. I already looked at that. I thought that might have been a better idea. This might have been one of the original ones. I'm not sure, but I know there was only springs and they were different colored springs. And I was like, dude, what is this big bag of shit? I'm like looking at all these springs. I'm like, I don't know what these spring weights are and how the fuck am I going to find out? I'm like, oh, I got to call JP and see if they can tell me. So I call them up and that's where I got that PDF. I think I still have that thing, the PDF file. I printed it. But yeah, when I pulled it out, the how it'll sit together, the one piece sat inside the other piece and it would kind of collapse back with the guide rod in the middle.
Yeah, like the long spring would collapse first, and then when it got to the end of the stroke, that fat or short spring would start to collapse.
Yes.
Before it bottomed out. Yeah.
Yes. And basically, it just snapped right there, and then it started sliding back where the spring shot past the end of it that held it in place, shot past it where it broke, and it just would, you could just slide it back and forth. I was like, that was the cheapest
Now,
thing I've
one
ever
thing I
seen.
have heard about those things from some guys is that it improved accuracy on their rifles. So I don't know about that, but like I said, I don't own one, but I have read that before from a couple different places that guys have put those in their rifles, like precision. I'm guessing precision, some sort of precision rifle, right? And that it dramatically improved accuracy for them. And I'm not sure if that's true. It could totally be true or not, but I have read that those JP captured springs have improved accuracy. So
the only way that it could do that is if it kept the bolt closed longer to let the pressure drop in the barrel and chamber.
Oh, and it could, right? Like they
Yeah.
could be designed to do that.
They,
because that's what the flat wire does too. The flat wire increases your dwell time.
yeah.
So, and reduces your cycling rate. It slows down your bolt better.
Yeah, your cyclic rate drops.
And that's one of the huge benefits of having that. Is just, and I really believe your gun becomes more reliable and more accurate, and just all around just better. I think it's like I would dare say it is the best upgrade you can really even do, like to an AR. Like,
well, especially if you're running a carbine linked gas system, you're gonna have overgassing no matter what you do. So if you can,
hell, even on a lot of mid-length or rifle-length gas systems, a lot of manufacturers are pumping out over gas systems because of reliability. Because to a certain point, it makes the guns run steel case. It makes the guns run shitty ammo. It makes them shoot everything, and that's what manufacturers want, because then they don't get guns back. So in most cases, unless you're buying like a precision barrel or something, I've noticed that like almost everyone's fucking barrels come over gas, dude. Everyone does.
Yeah,
that's
bigger.
Yeah, like hardly anyone's making like a mass-produced upper right now or something that's not overgassed. Like it doesn't matter if it's BCM or like who. If it like, I mean, they're all slightly overgassed. They are.
What, is everybody sleeping in the audience?
No, we bored them with gun talk too.
No,
Is it pronounced?
They exist.
Is it pronounced tool ammo or Tula ammo?
Tool.
Tool.
It's tool, but everyone calls it Tula.
Okay.
It's tool ammo, but everyone calls it Tula.
What, the A is silent?
No, it's just a part of ammo. If it's all one word.
Like they put it all like as one word in their like logo thing, but it's tool then ammo. But everyone calls it Tula.
I'm being confused here because I swear that on my box, like the Tula part separate.
Look it up.
It's tool.
Walking downstairs right this second, sir.
he's like I'm gonna get to the bottom of this right now.
I swear.
Yeah, because it's from like Tula is the fucking city or whatever, right?
Yeah, different company.
Ow, I keep forgetting there's fucking 20 bags of ammo as soon as I walk in this fucking door. God damn it.
That's a good problem to have.
Oh, it is, because I'm taking it all up north, but
yeah, because like on the box, on the side of the box, I've looked up, it says tool and then ammo. Like it's
no shit.
I could be wrong, but that's just what I remember on the side.
No, it's tool ammo.
But I still call it Tula. That's what I still call it, because that's what I've always heard it called, and so that's what I call it, is Tula.
For people wondering, here you go. So it's like tool ammo.
Tool ammo.
Same on the side there. I mean, it's the same logo.
Wouldn't it be funny if it was different on the other side? It's like, son of a bitch.
But I could have sworn I thought it was like, isn't the city Tula? Like, that's what I thought.
different.
No, I think the city is Tula. I think you are right. It's Tula, but that's what they did, like Tula ammo. Like I think it's a play on a word.
Words.
It's like sharing
Yeah.
the A or whatever, right? There,
Yeah.
It shares the A in the word, right? But if you read it in English, it's tool ammo. It's like that's like it's tool ammo, like because or it's tool ammo. It's one or the other, right?
Tulamo.
It can't be Tula and ammo. It can't be Tula ammo unless it had two
Tulamo.
A's.
Tulamo.
It would just simply have to have two A's to be Tula ammo. So
What
you're
is
right.
it?
That's kind of like Freedom Munitions, right? Or does that have two M's?
Fremunition.
that's
I'm
two
trying to
different
remember.
words.
What is
Freedom Munitions is two different words.
Fremunition.
They split theirs.
So like their things have two. Oh, I got a box in here right here somewhere. Why not? It's got two M's in the name or whatever. Oh yeah, they have two different words. It's not all together. And there are two M's. So it is freedommunitions.com. I couldn't remember if the website just shared the M. But yeah, I've always called it the Tula. I never really looked at that logo, but yeah, you're right. The logo makes it seem like Tula ammo, but since it's from the city of Tula, I'm sure you're supposed to call it. And trust me, if A's are silent in Russian, then my last name's with no consonants because it's got fucking 12 A's in it or whatever. And not that many, but close enough.
Hey, who's a 1911 guy in here besides Dad?
Negative Ghost Rider.
Negative Ghost Rider.
Hey, I didn't smack my foot on the way out. Hooray.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to pack my truck up tomorrow. I got to go to the store first, though. I have to buy some food, and I have to buy shepherd's hooks because I have a couple steel targets that I need to hang. I'm going to shoot a Mac 11, and then all of my guns. And I looked it up. The temperature actually went back up again for this weekend. 2 weeks ago when I looked, it was supposed to be like in the 60s. And then last weekend when I looked, like what this weekend would be, now that it's only a week away, it said it was going to be like in the 40s, like as a high. I was like, oh, geez. And then now I looked, and it was going to be a high of like 58. Still lows of like 30. So, I mean, it'll still be freezing at night. But I'm excited. It's going to be warm. Right now, I'm just outside Detroit, but I'm heading up to northern Michigan.
Okay.
For the weekend of Shootapalooza.
I just found my stock. Oh yeah,
Where's it at?
on eBay.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. Retarded a little bit mentally.
Yeah, $56. So like that's what it's up to right now. It has 2 days left, but if I could get that for like $58 or $60, I'd be pretty happy.
What's the buy now?
There is no buy it now. I wish there was, but
Are you bidding on it?
Just pop in the price you're willing to pay, and if you get it, cool, and if not, whatever.
oh no, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna wait until like the last fucking like 2 minutes and then put the price on. Like I'll actually wait. Like if I really want it and I can, I'll wait till like the last 20 seconds and then put the max price I'm willing to pay, and then hit place bid like in the very last second, so like no one has time to like counter me. So whoever's like in the lead doesn't get a notification all of a sudden, or someone who decided to do the same thing but didn't put in as high as a max as I did that I was willing to pay, then they don't get it either, and I get it, right? And they don't have time to re-up their thing when they're, So if I'm serious about it, I'll wait till the very last couple seconds. And like, so it's like $48 right now, right? And shipping's $8. So what I'll do is I'll wait till the very last couple seconds, and then I'm going to probably type in like $62, and then that'll be like 70 total. So, so at the last 5 seconds, like even if it's still at $48, I'll type in, my $62, hit place bid. And then if I get it, I get it. If not, I don't. So, but that's worked for me a lot of times. And a lot of times I'll get it for 49 still. Right. But a lot of times I'll get it for like right at my max bid or right below that. And if I would have bid, if I would have bid under that and tried to like cheap out a little more, I wouldn't have got it. So I just straight up decided, hey, I'm willing to pay this much money for it. And in the last couple seconds, I put that amount of money in. And sometimes it doesn't even get down to that, because sometimes it goes over that max amount I was willing to pay for it long before it ever even comes down to the time before the couple seconds.
Do you want to hear a secret?
Yeah.
I'll do a similar thing. So let's use those same numbers, but instead of putting in $62, I'll put in like 6201, because a lot of people, 62 is actually kind of a weird number, but a lot of people only bid like $50, $55, $60. So by putting in that extra penny, sometimes you actually match someone else's max bid, and because your max bid's a penny more, you get it. Whereas if you just bid 60 and then say, oh crap, like I'm still outbid, now I have to go to 61. Like you have to put a whole nother dollar or a couple bucks in. But because it's like, it's part of your original max bid, you'll get those couple of extra cents.
No, yeah, I think you're right.
And I've won a lot of things with, like $5.01, and the other person's like auto bid popped in at $5. Like let's say, it's down at $1 or $2 or whatever, and I'll be like, I'd pay $5 for it. I'll put in 501 right at the last second. Their auto bid cuts off at 5, and like you said, they don't have enough time to come back and change their auto bid. But adding like weird, like couple of pennies or whatever, it can make a huge difference. And then people get pissed because they lost it by a penny.
No, that is a great idea. I'm actually going to start using
$10, then I'm screwed, right? I put in the 501. Yeah. Oh, you're outbid at 601, and then I kind of chuckle to myself because now they have to pay $6.01.
You're like, what the fuck?
Yep. People have weird obsessions with round numbers when it comes to eBay. They really do. I've won shit with 42 cents. You know what I mean? Like blah 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 42 just as a joke. And it's like, oh, fuck, cool. Especially cheap stuff. There's things that are going for like a couple dollars or whatever. Like that's where the bids are only going up by 50 cents at a time. Like you can jump by, 92 cents or whatever. And so it goes in the 50 cent higher, but your max is a little bit more. And then if they come back with an auto bid, you end up going up by 42 cents. But again, if they're dollars over you, then it maxes out your bid and then adds $1 to it. So then they're paying a weird price, and I kind of chuckle to myself.
I actually get a lot of stuff. Like right now, I have 8% on eBay, right? So like everything right now I buy on eBay, I get like 8% back in eBay bucks. And 8% can be a lot, right? So if I buy like
that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's like 8% off everything you buy. That's cool.
Everything you buy, right? But what I do is they save that money back that I get, and at the end of every quarter, the end of every 3 months, I get a gift certificate for how much I earned for that 3 months. So whether I earned $4 or $20 or, and then I can use that gift certificate towards another eBay purchase. So I have this thing, however much I get, I go out and I buy like a gun part or something with it. That's what I invested towards. So then I can go out and buy a $20 part and then use $5 of my of that gift certificate that I got towards it. And so now my $20 part only cost me $15 and stuff like that. So that it's like, yeah, I got a good deal. So
yeah, that's cool. I got the thing with the Cabela's card, the credit card, but it's only like it's 1% on like any purchase, and then when you buy stuff like at Cabela's, sometimes they'll like their featured thing will be like 10 times the points, so it's like 10% off basically. And so every once in a while, I'll be like, oh yeah, I have like $100 saved up. I'll just buy a bunch of ammo or whatever. Which is when I bought my new flashlight and my Mora knife. I went on Cabela's to use. I actually also had a gift card, so I was going to use a gift card and points, and I needed 22 mag ammo. And I got distracted because I was trying to get up over like $50 to get free shipping. And so I was looking at the flashlight and the knife and blah, blah, which ended up being over $50. I got the free shipping. My gift card was something or other. I forget. Actually, I think I had a $50 gift card. And then whatever, it ended up being a little bit more. And I bought the thing, and then I was like, fuck, I forgot to buy ammo. Like I checked out before I added ammo to the cart. Which that's something I have to do tomorrow. I got to go find some 22 Magnum. Which I'm thinking I have to, I should check that real quick, is how late Jay's Sporting Goods is open. It's like a couple-hour drive from my house. It's right on the way up north. And I might swing by if they're open kind of late, because I should be leaving my house by about 5. So they should be open by 7 on a Friday. They're probably open till 9. And traffic shouldn't be that bad because it's not summer yet.
Take it easy, guys. I gotta go to bed. Later.
See you, Hosh. But yeah, I got to buy food, shepherd hooks, and 22 Magnum ammo tomorrow. Oh, and I got to swing by my parents' house. Fuck. Got shit to do. Well, I got to get stuff for up north because they have like the keys and the garage door opener and like, the keys to the tractor, all that kind of shit. We have like a little bag we keep all of the up north stuff in. I got to swing by their house and pick that up. And my mom has some lunch meat that she got for me and my dad when we were going to go up north last weekend.
Hey, Smeggie, you're an AK expert.
Sure. I mean, I own one, so I guess that counts.
I know that makes you an expert.
Okay.
So, what kind of optic do you got on your AK?
I have these things called eyes, and they see. And then I look at this little metal thing, and I put the little peg where I want it to go. What I'm saying is I have iron sights.
Are you anti-optic?
No. In fact, I have, I got the side rails or whatever on the thing, so I could put an optic on it. I just haven't yet. I mean, I like that it's, like original looking. So if I did get an optic, I'd probably go for like a retro, like whatever they used to have on AKs back in the day.
Like something with one of those side rails. I think that's what they really had. Like,
yeah, it'd be a side rail thing. I don't like the top mounting stuff. I'm not a big fan of like the furniture I'll call it like modern furniture. I know it's what they have, like what they actually use now, but I want my shit to look like it was, built in 47 type of thing. Even though my AK is a fucking Frankenstein.
That cat sounds cute.
That cat's old as fuck. That cat's older than all my kids, dude.
I say that cat sounded like a fucking monster. Ain't gonna lie. That was the most gravelly, like.
Dude, she's an 18-year-old like wild cat. Basically, she's a wild feral cat. 18 years old.
Awesome.
I saved her because she obviously escaped when she was a kitten from somebody. Got old enough to have a litter of kittens. Have a second litter of kittens. And then I caught her, and she had the collar on from when she was a kitten. And the skin had overgrown around the collar and was cutting into her neck, and she was bleeding and had sores and stuff around her neck. And her head was miniature because of that. Her head stayed small. And even to this day, like her body grew, but even to this day, her head's a lot smaller for her body size. then so it's kind of weird, right? Stay kind of small, but I captured her and brought her back to health, and then let her go again. And I was just gonna let her back out in the wild, but she kept coming back and meowing at my door, coming to my door, meow, meow. So I kept feeding her and shit, and she had another litter of wild kittens. And at that point in time, I was living in a apartment before I had a house, and the landlord came around and bought cat food and put rat poison in it, poisoned all the kittens and poisoned her. So then she almost died, and all the kittens died. And I brought her back to health again. And needless to say, I moved. I got into a big fucking fight with that landlord. Oh, dude, I was so shitty pissed.
I would have poisoned you.
I moved right away, dude, and and then got a house. And I was like, I'm never gonna go through this shit again because it just broke my heart. Like I was there, like going through the whole kittens dying and all that. Like they died in my arms, and so it just broke my heart. So so I took her and shit and adopted her, went and got her fixed, got her all of her shots and shit, and then because see, I'm allergic to cats, dude. That's why I didn't like want to keep her. That's why I was like putting her back in the wild. I couldn't keep her. I was just trying to do the right thing by cutting her collar off of her, right? And it was hell. I went through hell. My eyes were swelling up every day, and I couldn't breathe, and fucking, like I was going through hell, dude. But I was just trying to do the right thing, right? And but then I got attached to her, and she got attached to me, and then I've kind of built up an immunity to it now. So now I can be in the same room with her and stuff, and I can even pet her as long as I go wash my hands right the fuck away. And I don't want her up on the couch or up on my bed, like anywhere where I'm going to lay my face. But I've built up an immunity to her now. Like other cats will still set me off big time. To where I can just walk into somebody's house and just be in a room where their like cat's been, and it can get me set off, right? My allergic reaction. But I built it up an immunity to her now, to where now she can actually like hang out around me and stuff. And she's the boss. She rules all three dogs in my house still. She's the alpha male. She's the only female, but she's the boss. Oh no, I guess my little Peaches, my little Chihuahua, is a female, but my two bigger dogs are males, and she bigger than she is, and she still rules them with an iron thumb. 18 years old. And she's a good mouser, like, cause she like hangs out all like the only time she comes in now is in the winter, and that's only started for the last couple years because she's gotten too old. Before she would just still sleep in the garage and stuff during the winter, but now she's so old she really wants to come inside. But in the summertime and stuff, I just she hangs out outside like the whole fucking time. She likes to be an outdoor cat. She still catches mice and birds and leaves me presents at 18 years old. It's pretty cool. Not as good as she once was, but like she's still a good deterrent from getting, because that's a big issue where I live, is like mice and shit, like field mice, and stuff like that.
That's pretty cool. I lost a long hair Mancoon and my short-haired American about, it's probably been about 4.5, 5 months ago for my short hair, and then last Christmas for my Mancoon. And I just adopted this calico 4-year-old, rescued it, little female, and she's amazing. The most polite cat. And I've never been a cat person. I've always been a dog person. But she's amazing. She just is the cutest damn thing you've ever seen. As a matter of fact, check this out, Dead Horse. Yeah.
You're looking to switch the camera. It's in the top right of the screen. Top right. There you go.
You see her over there on her little toy?
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, on her pedestal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I like cats, dude. I've never hated cats. It's just I've always been allergic to them. So I just,
yeah.
And you know, like fucking had a girlfriend once that had a cat, and it got leukemia, and I'm the one that had to go take it in, and like had a whole, like I held it in my arms like while the vet put the shot in and all that, put it down. And that was rough for me, man. Like I'm not like some like hard ass like, oh, you know what I mean? Like that was rough, and that wasn't even my cat. But like it was a cat like I had been around and like since it was a kitten, you know, and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
Yeah, and she couldn't do it, so I went and did it. And then while I had this cat, my ex-wife got herself a cat, and its name was Sushi. Okay, and it was this pure white cat, and you know, and it was like my wife's cat. Well, a guy who I was working with, who was also my friend, brought his dog over to my house one day and left his dog at my house with my dogs, and his dog ate Sushi. Didn't eat my cat. Didn't eat Mama cat. It didn't eat my like, but it ate the Sushi cat. And my ex-wife, got fucking livid, fucking pissed. Was like calling me on the phone, screaming that like she's gonna call the dog collector and like have like all of our dogs taken. And I was just like, no, you're not doing that. My dogs didn't. I know my dogs didn't eat the fucking cat. Like my dog slept with the cat and shit. Like I knew it was my buddy's dog, but like it had been around my cats before. It never showed like an interest or anything. Like it, you know, it never showed anything. So I don't know what the fuck happened. But you know, I wasn't there, so I don't know what went down. But all I know is that it killed it, and you know, and my ex held a grudge for that for a long fucking time. And those are the only cats I've ever had, are those three, and I still got one of them. So, you know, I don't have a good track record with cats except for this one.
I think I'm gonna go to bed, man.
Yeah, it is late.
It's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's 4. Yeah, you get your ass to bed. Yeah. Sounds like you were coming down with a cold.
Dude, I have been coughing and wheezing and blowing my nose. I got a roll of toilet paper sitting on the coffee table here, dude. I don't know.
They've been dropping the flu in chemtrails, so we go into the doctor and get our flu shots so we can get our mind control.
Oh my god!
Docile. So they've been doing that lately. That's why everyone in the country.
I'm assuming you're joking, but you might not be. But I'm just
You'll never
like you
know.
are.
Dude, there's people out there who believe that, so come on. Like,
hey, I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on.
I'm just saying, there's people out there who really believe that. Like, they legitimately think that's a thing. So,
freaking Dead Horse doesn't realize. Like, he's got me on his show, and I'm just like, all of a sudden, tinfoil hatted up. And all acting goofy. He's like, what the hell is going on with this guy?
Hey, I'm just saying it's, you know, it's, I'm not saying I believe in that. I'm not. Like, I'm just saying it's a theory that has been put out there by other people where you can go watch documentaries and YouTube videos about it. And there's literally people out there that are telling you that they're dropping flu shit on you to make you sick, to force you to go to the doctor. So the doctor prescribes certain medications and shots that has like a, you know, MK Ultra type serum type shit in it that makes you more docile and makes you more, you know, like dumb, and just like the whole Nazis with fluoride in the water. I mean, you guys ever heard that conspiracy?
Oh my god, we're not getting into conspiracies. Can't stand that kind of stuff. But that's like
I believe this. I'm just saying, like, it can be.
I know, but just by even saying like, well, people say, it's like, well, I don't care. People say all sorts of crazy shit. Doesn't mean that I
know,
want to
but
talk about
like,
it.
I don't want to be the guy who's like, oh, I'm not going to listen to the alternative argument about something. Like, that's why I listen to flat Earth stuff, is because I believe the Earth is round, and I believe there's really strong evidence that it's round. But I'm not going to. I don't want to be the guy who's like so stubborn to never listen to someone else's, like opinion on something, or
Well,
like evidence that they have, like to say that I'm wrong, right? If someone says you're wrong, well, I want to hear why. Like, I want to know why. Well, show me why I'm wrong, why I believe the Earth is wrong. So I'll actually listen.
I'm not saying I'm not open-minded. I just not in the mood at this current second. But I do want to relate this to the other day. I was talking to this guy, and we got talking because hockey was on TV, and we were both paying pretty close attention to it. And so we started talking about hockey for a little bit, and then I don't know, somehow guns got brought up. So we're talking about guns, and this dude's a big like gun guy, and it's like, I don't know, we like super bonded for sure. Was like, oh dude, you're fucking awesome. Like we were talking all night, and it was a cool guy. And I've actually talked to him before, but this is the first time I got like an in-depth conversation with him. And I don't know, at some point in the night, we were, I don't even remember how it got brought up, but like we said something, and then he's like, yeah, like ancient aliens and shit. He's like, I mean, I don't really believe in like, like a god or whatever, but I believe in a higher power, and I think that they're aliens. Like he thinks that all the old like scripture and stuff was talking about aliens, and I was just like, oh, that
is a very popular. There's a lot more people who believe that.
It could be whatever, I don't know. But at the time, I certainly wasn't about to get into that conversation with him because it's one of those things you don't mix like drinking with religion and politics and stuff like that. So
that's when you egg them on, and you want to listen to like tell me what you really think. Like that's what you want to say. Like now tell me what you really think.
I know, but we were having a good night, and I would have disagreed with him, so I ended up like,
you don't disagree. You don't have to disagree. You just smile and nod. Okay, that's the first thing you got to learn. You just smile and nod while he's telling his shit, and you just let him tell it, and you never have to agree to it, but it can be funny as shit. And then you got a good story to tell. Man, I met this guy who fucking believes Jesus was an alien, and that like from fucking Saturn, and like he lives in the hollow spaceship in the moon. Like, dude, that can be good times. I'm just saying, like you're ruining a lot of shit there. Don't even disagree. Like just smile and nod.
Well, either way, I chose to go with like, oh yeah, that's cool. Oh shit, did you see that goal? And then we were back distracted because I mean he was at the point of being very easily distracted. That's the other part of it too. Like I might not have been as opposed to it if it wasn't, like whatever 1 o'clock in the morning or that type of thing. You know what I mean? Like there's a time and a place, and in fact, actually, there was a couple guys next to us that I guess they worked together or something, and I don't know exactly what kicked it off, but somehow they must have been talking about like Syrian refugees or something, and then it turned into like Mexican immigrants and blah blah. And these two guys were like straight up freaking screaming at each other. It was one of those things. The entire place was like uncomfortable, and at one point, like I don't know, the one guy went outside, the other guy went to the bathroom or whatever. And because there were three of them there, and the dude in the middle, like he hadn't said anything. It's like the two on the outsides were yelling at each other, and I kind of leaned over. I was like, "Hey, are your buddies okay with each other?" Like I was basically asking, like, "Is there going to be a fist fight?" Because I just want to make sure, since you guys are right next to me, I don't want collateral damage coming my way, type of thing. Like some dude throws a pitcher of beer at the guy and it hits me. Like I don't want that. And he goes, "Oh yeah," he goes, "We all work together. They're like this with each other, during the day at work and blah, blah, blah." So it's like, okay, that's just how they communicate. That's fine. It's like when some of us in these chats will like kind of get heated. I don't know that anyone has been as bad as they were, but maybe sometimes, and I understand it's like one of those things. We don't actually hate each other. We just disagree on shit. Like earlier when we were arguing about the YouTube thing, like we all had our own opinion and we were on a little bit different.
All. You were all wrong. I was right.
Yeah, well, you're a piece of shit, so you can go fuck yourself, asshole. And if I ever see you, I'll punch you in the face.
Deal.
See, well, no, not deal, because I want to meet you at some point in my life, and then I'm gonna have to punch you in the face. I don't want to do that.
I can take
But
it.
anyways, you know what I mean? Like I get it from our point of view. We're joking around, but maybe an outsider would be like, "Oh God, these guys don't like each other." And so I think that's what happened with these people. Is like they're getting heated. They've had a couple pitchers of beer. Like they might actually start fighting, and then turns out, even when they're completely sober at work, they start yelling at each other the same way. So that's just the way they talk to each other. Okay, fine, whatever. And the guy's like, yeah, they're not going to fucking start throwing at each other. I said, okay, that's all I'm concerned about, because I go to this place a lot, and I'd like to think that, I help out with the things. And
if you're ever in some sort of trade where you apprentice under somebody, a good, I guess what you could call them, like, whether you want to call them your supervisor or whatever, master or whatever, but a good one of those will get you like pushed to the point to where you want to like kick their ass. And you get into like like, all right, let's go outside right now. I'm fucking fed up. Let's just go get this over with.
See, I can't think of a time that I've really wanted to like fight someone over that kind of stuff. But again, I love to argue, and sometimes it will get heated. The difference is I'll be like, when it's time to be over, whether we just agree to disagree type of thing, like, okay, fine, whatever. And I'll still go take you out for a beer. Like, I don't care. Like, some people take stuff very personally, and it's like, I just have a different opinion than you. I'm completely fine with that. I'm not married to my opinion. Just the facts and the logic that I've used has made me think of, outcome A, and you think outcome B. Like, that's fine. But I don't get into the personal, like, yeah, your mom's a whore and all this shit. Like, that's not useful. That doesn't help anything.
Well, actually, it could if you were living close to that person.
How so? How is that useful in a conversation to yell at someone like that?
Well, if the person's mother was a whore and she lived close to you, I mean, that could be useful.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, just kidding sarcastically.
I didn't get it at first.
Okay.
Hey, it's 4 a.m. here too, buddy, so I'm slow.
All right, gentlemen, this time I am going. I will
All right,
see
man.
you. It was nice hanging out with you and talking with you, Smeggie. And Dead Horse, always a pleasure, brother. And I don't know who the other person is, but if you're sleeping, good night. If not, nice hanging out with you. And you have a good one, fellas.
Yeah, see you, man. You can always come back into the cave.
Okay, no worries. I will.
I'm not sure who sent him a link, but that's fine. He was a good guy. I think he was in Ellis's chat, so maybe Ellis gave it to him or something. But it's like, because him and Ellis joined at like the exact same time, and I was like, who's that guy? I don't know if I've ever talked to him before.
No, I gave David a link. He's the only person I gave a link to. Was just David, because he's a pretty cool guy. So, and he knows a lot about guns. He's good for gun talk.
Yep. Yeah, he definitely knew his stuff.
He's actually like a dealer. He sells stuff all day long. That's all he does and work on rifles and build rifles and shit. So he's a good resource for part knowledge and stuff.
Yeah, that was cool. And I would send him a link if I had known or whatever, if he asked. But it was one of those things.
He doesn't have a gun channels account yet, so he's been hanging out on YouTube because he has really bad eyesight because an explosion happened in his face overseas or something. So he doesn't use the computer much, but I'm gonna get him a gun channels account and to where he can start coming over here. He's mainly just been participating in the YouTube side of things and watching the chats out there and stuff like that. So, but he's coming over to YouTube now, and I'm going to help him set up an account and walk him through it on the Hangout, like live, and show him like everything, like where he has to click and everything. And,
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping the guy last night checks out gun channels. I told him about it. He seemed cool about it, but then he's like, I'm like, do you watch like gun videos on YouTube? He goes, oh yeah, all the time. And I'm like, oh okay, and because I was talking about like the podcasts and stuff that I do. Well, I mentioned about SHOT Show, and he's like, how'd you get to SHOT Show? I said, well, I went as media because I'm part of the Daily Gun Show. We do it every night, blah blah blah, whatever. He's like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I was like, do you know like Yankee Marshall, Never Enough Ammo, gun websites? He's like, nope. Do you know Hank Strange?
Well, a lot of guys I've noticed don't follow a certain person. What they do is they find a certain subject they're interested in and then just watch a bunch of videos from random people, but they're never subscribing to those channels.
Yeah, but I would figure they would at least like catch their, like if you look up revolvers, like you're gonna know who Yankee is, type of thing, or if you look up whatever something else, you're gonna know who these other people. Anyways, the point was, yeah, he didn't know like any of the people I was name dropping. I'm like, oh, well, whatever. I'm friends with all of them, and he's like, oh, cool. I was hoping to get a little street cred, and it totally failed because he didn't know who any of them were.
No, I would have said like, okay, like how about like FPS Russia, and then you would have known he just didn't know nothing.
I didn't even think of trying that. Like, oh, do you know Hitchcock? Like, oh yeah, he's my favorite. Like, oh, that's why. Okay, I get it. But he was, like I said, super cool dude. So hopefully he jumps over. But I haven't had a super successful conversion rate of people I meet in real life. I got a couple people. A couple of my buddies signed up and they never use it. So it's like I know them in real life. They should come on here, but I know they also are super busy. So it's like
maybe they do come on here and they just troll you without you knowing. I mean, you don't even know it's them. Yeah,
it's possible if they just had it was hard enough to get them to sign up like with a real account. I doubt they then decided to make like a fake one, and it's like they've been talking to me for years and I don't know that that's them.
I got a couple people local to me that I've brought to gun channels and that come on and do stuff on here and listen to come into people's chats or come in.
Yeah, it's cool, especially when like because I've done it the other way. I've met people on gun channels and then met them in real life, so that's like it's cool knowing them in person. So it's nice to experience it the other way. But whatever, I guess they're busy. And at least this dude wasn't the type of guy like those other people when I gave him the Every Second Matters business card and shit, and then I found it on the floor in the bathroom later. I was like, fuck you, dudes. I was so pissed. Because it was like this whole table, like I'm sitting up at the bar, there's this table behind me, and I can't help but hear them. I'm not, trying to listen, but they're talking loudly, and I'm just sitting there watching TV, talking to whoever was sitting next to me or whatever, and I keep hearing like 762, blah 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 blah, fucking Bushmaster, or like whatever. I'm hearing words that are like, huh? I know those words. And so at one point I had kind of, jumped in. I was like, hey, excuse me for a second, but like, are you talking about the whatever it was, like the CZ or something? I love my CZ. Like it was one of those where it's like, oh, I have to say something now. They just said something. And they're like, oh yeah, fucking we love guns, blah, blah, blah. So I ended up like kind of sitting there, like turning my chair kind of sideways. So I'm still talking to the guy up at the bar next to me, but then also talking to this table. Like we just kind of made a big group out of it. And they seemed super cool. And then we started talking about gun laws, and they were very like well informed. So that's why I kind of pushed Every Second Matters. I was like, yeah, we talk about it, once a month. We have a bunch of guests on. Like we just talk about also what's going on in the world and blah, 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 whatever. Oh, that's totally awesome. I'll have to remember that. And I said, well, here, let me give you a business card. Then you'll remember it exists. Because I always keep a couple of gun channels and Every Second Matters business cards in my wallet. And then, like I said, later in the night, they had left. Okay, cool, man. We'll check it out. See ya. Thanks for talking. Blah, 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 whatever. Oh, awesome. You guys are super cool. Go to the bathroom a little bit later. The fucking business card's sitting on the ground. It's like, you assholes.
Yeah, it could have fallen out though. Like, you gotta try and get.
It's possible.
If you would have found it like right in the toilet or in the trash, then I'd be more. But a lot of guys are reaching into their wallet, pulling shit out, especially at a bar, drinking and shit. Fuck, dude.
Yeah, it's possible.
You know, and then he also might have dropped it on accident, and then saw it, and it was like, I'm too drunk to bend over to pick that up.
Well, or
I'll just remember
like,
it.
I'm not fucking picking that up because I would have.
I got a memory of steel. I will remember that, right? And then, like, just what was that place?
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, you know, like some public bathrooms, dude. If I drop my car keys on the floor, I guess I'm buying a new car. Like, I ain't picking that shit up.
You're trying to think of creative ways that you can, like, what you can use. Like, maybe if I take off my belt, I can MacGyver that shit.
But anyways, well, I think I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to sleep, man.
Especially I got a bunch of shit to do tomorrow. And then I'm driving up north. Woohoo! Up north. Fucking phone's gonna be off. I'll be dead to the world. So I'll see all you guys on Tuesday because I'm staying up on Monday.
Well, enjoy your time up there, man, and have fun.
Oh, for sure. First order of business is rebuilding my range. I'm gonna make my buddy help me with that. And then the rest of the time is gonna be shooting guns, drinking beer, and sitting around a bonfire. In that order. So
that sounds like a lot of fun. You're a lucky bastard, man. All right, you have fun. Take care and be safe.
Yep. See you, man. Thanks for jumping in. And yeah, like I said, thanks for sending that guy a link. He was cool.
Awesome.
Once you get him set up with gun channels, make sure you show him how to message me, and then we'll be good to go. For the audience, thanks everyone for watching and hanging out with me in the cave. We'll see you all next time.